In the hermit kingdom of North Korea, there exists a very special and unique place. Very special and unique kind of hell. Kim Il-sung, as many tyrants are wont to do, had harbored a certain paranoia, an unholy zeal in seeking out and destroying any kind of dissent, real or imagined. For him, anyone who harbored any doubts about his so-called socialist workers' paradise was to be considered unredeemable. Therefore, since they could not be redeemed, they would spend the rest of their lives in the miserable existence of the Kaechon internment camp. This, however, was not enough for Kim Il-sung. After all, dissent might pass from generation to generation, from one family member to another. So thus the prisoners lived under what was called the 3 Generations Program. This meant that the prisoners, their children, and then their grandchildren would all be sentenced to life in prison. Now, slave labor in abominable conditions and utterly unsafe conditions was daily life for all. Children as young as 11 might rarely see their parents. Breaking any of the rules in this camp could result in torture, execution, or both. In these conditions was born Shin Dong-hyuk, whose father had committed the crime of simply being related to some family member who defected. Now, Shin grew up in a world where he believed that the whole world was divided into camps like his. Some people were simply born to be guards. Others were born to be prisoners. Existence in a camp was just the way that things were. He was indoctrinated in the rules of the camp from a very early age. And when he was a young man, he witnessed the execution of his mother and older brother for plotting to escape the camp. Now, Shin knew what would happen to them because he himself had betrayed his own mother and brother to a prison guard. That's how he grew up. You told on others, or you were going to be punished as well. However, the guard he confided in took credit instead for finding the plot. And so Shin, being related to those trying to escape, was sent to be tortured. But what he said next is especially haunting. The reporter asked him how he could turn in his own mother and brother. Did he not love them? He answered simply, "I did not know what love was. I don't think I know what love is even now." At that time, he had no feelings, one way or another, about turning his family in. His world changed one day, however, when a new prisoner arrived, who told Shin of all the wonders of the world, especially the food. Now, food in the camp was basically cabbage and salted cornmeal, and whatever insects and rats they could find. He dreamed then of pork, duck, and especially roasted chicken. One day, as he and his friend were near the fence collecting firewood, they saw their chance to escape. His friend attempted to escape first, but he was electrocuted by the electric fence. Shin then used the lifeless body of his friend to climb out and find a way out. Eventually made his way down to South Korea, where he lives a more or less normal life now. Ironically, the big thing that he dreamed of roasted chicken, really wasn't all that special, he said. It's perhaps this utter absence of love, it's not even knowing what love is, that makes Shin's story so unimaginable, so horrific. Shin's world was limited to his very own existence and really nothing else in the camp. There was no real human connection, not even with his own family. Everyone was either a prisoner in hell or was a guard that made that place hell. I believe it is this utter divorce of love from other people that makes this camp so uniquely evil. Imagine a world where you could not connect with another person, where you were distant from everyone else, distant perhaps from even yourself. Jean-Paul Sartre was wrong. Hell is not other people. Hell is a person forever alone in himself, unable to escape. From this vantage point of hell, from this utter lack of love, I think we can begin to get a glimpse then, if we turn it around, of what the most holy Trinity is. We all know what the Trinity is, at least in words. One God, three persons, and in the person of Christ, true God and true man. We say this every Sunday. Now, in his insight, St. Augustine discovers a key to understanding the Trinity: persons and love. Love, divine love, or any love that resembles divine love, is personal. God is love. God is three persons, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But when St. Augustine or any one of us loves, what happens? When I, who make this inquiry, he says, love anything, there are three things concerned: myself, that which I love, and love itself. For I do not love love, except I love a lover. For there is no love where nothing is loved. Therefore there are three things: he who loves that which is loved and loved. But what if I love none except myself? Will there not then be two things: that which I love and love? Since the same thing is said, when it is said he loves himself, and he is loved by himself. For in that case, to love and to be loved are not two different things. In his analogy, when one of the legs of this triangle of love is absent, love itself, he who loves, or the lover, love then will collapse on itself. But he continues, but if we subtract him that loves, then there is no love. And if we subtract love, then there is no one that loves. Where then is the Trinity? So we have God who exists in himself. We know that God is love. And love must have a beloved. Love must love someone. So the Son proceeds from the Father. And in this exchange of love, the loving of the other, and the giving of oneself to the other, there is a third party, the love itself between the one and the other. Thus we say the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father and the Son in the Creed, and we can say that this love among the three persons is a mutual giving of self and loving of the other. The love of God is so powerful, so beyond infinity itself, that all three persons are one. Would not the lover, if he could, become one, the beloved? Yet God does not become one, but is one, and has been one eternally. Now, do we not say that each of us is made in the image and likeness of God? We are individual persons and limited beings, so we cannot be one as God is one. But we can still participate in the divine Trinity by love, because God is love. And love seeks another to love. And here is where in this life we find our family, our friends, our spouse. We will sometimes picture the Trinity as a triangle or circle, but even that analogy fails, for God is infinite, without limit, and so is his love. His love is infinite for eternity. But our love seeks to grow, and really in that becomes more like God. And thus, especially in the bond of holy matrimony, which is itself an image of the love of God to the person of Christ for his church, love continues to grow and is fertile, begetting children in spirit and in flesh. This is one of the reasons that the church teaches that artificial contraception is sinful. It is sinful because it seeks to collapse love. It seeks to limit this divine aspect and frustrates, in a way, the very nature of love. It is in this triangle of human lover, human beloved, and God where we participate in our own way in this Trinitarian life, where we participate in love itself. And this love carries each of us further towards the abyss of infinite love that is God. Now, love can, love will, and love must change us as we grow in love and in the knowledge and friendship of God, because love then will make us more like unto God. St. Augustine ended his beautiful writing on the Trinity with a simple but beautiful prayer to that same Trinity, saying, "Let me remember you, let me understand you, let me love you. Increase these things in me until you reform me completely." So he reminds us that becoming like God in his love is a lifelong process and the dynamic vocation of every human creature. The image will be perfected in the future, transformed through the Spirit. And when this image therefore has been renewed by this transformation and thus made perfect, then we shall be like to God, since we shall see him not through a mirror, but just as he is, which the apostle calls face to face. That love through which we love, that love itself shall have a face, and it will be most wonderfully above all personal, truly, infinitely, and intimately personal.